Welcome to this quick guide on proctoring and grading the A+ UIL writing contests. These events challenge students to think critically, organize their ideas, and express themselves clearly in writing. We'll cover what you need to know to guide students during the contest, as well as how to evaluate and score the papers during the grading process. By the end, you'll have the tools to help run each writing event smoothly and fairly. We have a lot to cover during this training, so we are not going to spend much time on how to proctor. If you need to learn more about that aspect of the contest, I recommend watching the video on proctoring multiple choice events. That guide covers everything you need to know about setting up the room, giving instructions, and managing test materials. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the different writing events and their corresponding grade level divisions. There are 3 writing events in A+ UIL: creative writing, editorial writing, and ready writing. Creative writing is for our youngest competitors and includes just one division, specifically for second graders. Editorial writing is a middle school contest with one combined division, where students from all grade levels compete against one another. Ready writing has 5 separate grade level divisions, beginning in 4th grade and continuing through 8th grade. We'll go into more detail about each of these events later. Each division of a writing event will have its own event packet. Inside the packet you'll find a roster with the names of all the students competing in that division, directions for the proctor, blank-lined writing paper, and other contest materials. Proctors will bring this packet with them into the contest room to administer the event. Students will receive a packet of blank-lined writing paper for the contest, with multiple pages stapled together. If a student uses all the pages in their packet, the proctor can provide additional sheets from the extra paper included in the event packet. Any extra sheets should be stapled to the student's original packet to keep their work organized and together for judging. Once the contest is finished, the proctor should collect the finished essays, place them back into the packet and return them to the judge room for grading. Sometimes a division will have more students than can fit comfortably in a room, so we split the division into multiple sections. Most commonly, this results in 2 sections labeled A and B, though on rare occasions there may be 3 sections, A, B, and C. When it's time to grade, the sections are combined so all students in the division are compared against each other. Now that the students' essays are complete, it's time to get comfortable and settle in for grading. Find a good spot in the judging room, grab a drink if you like, and make sure you have something to write with. Think of this as your little grading station, cozy, organized, and ready for some serious judging fun. You'll also need a few key documents handy which we'll discuss next. Make sure you have the student essays to read one by one, the evaluation sheets to fill out for each essay, and the student roster to record your rankings after you've read all the papers. In UIL writing events, we typically assign only one grader per section. Having a single grader ensures that all papers are evaluated by the same standard, maintaining consistency. Second, it avoids potential conflicts caused by individual biases between multiple graders. Third, it simplifies tie-breaking, and finally, it makes accountability straightforward. Any questions about a score can be traced back to one person. One grader is the preferred approach to keep scoring fair and reliable. One important reminder: please do not mark or write on the students' essays. Essays must remain clean and unmarked. All notes, scores, and comments should be written only on the evaluation sheets. When you look at the evaluation sheets, you'll notice that more weight is given to some areas than others. The top priority is always the content, the student's ideas, creativity, and overall interest. Next comes organization, making sure the writing flows clearly and logically. Finally, correctness of style, things like grammar, spelling, and punctuation, is considered, but it carries the least weight and should never overshadow strong content. As you grade, keep these priorities in mind, and always provide comments that are constructive and supportive so students know what they did well and how they can grow. Evaluation sheets are designed to help graders score student writing fairly and consistently, so that no matter who the judge is, the same standards are applied across the board. Each sheet highlights the most important aspects of writing for that particular contest, helping graders stay focused on what really matters, things like organization, clarity, and style. In addition to scoring, these sheets also serve as a feedback tool, where graders can give students constructive notes that can help them improve their writing in the future. While the exact criteria vary between events, all of the sheets follow the same basic principles to ensure a uniform and fair process. This is the evaluation sheet for creative writing. When it comes to a student's score, creativity counts for 60%, organization for 30%, and correctness of style for 10%. In this contest, students can earn a maximum of 20 points. There is a small section at the bottom of the evaluation sheet for constructive comments. When writing comments, keep in mind that creative writing is for second graders, so try not to be too harsh. Make use of positive and encouraging language. Now, let's look at the editorial writing evaluation sheet. Graders are asked to rate essays using 4 statements on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Students can earn a maximum of 40 points in this contest. At the bottom of the sheet are 2 areas for written comments. Ready writing has a rubric on the evaluation sheet. Interest counts for 50%, organization for 35%, and correctness of style for 15%. Students can earn a maximum of 200 points. Please make sure to provide constructive comments. Include highlights of the paper and areas they can improve upon. Once you have read all the essays, it's time to rank them to determine the winners. The top 10 essays in each division place. In each division, you may see 30 or more students competing. While you must read and complete an evaluation sheet for every paper, you are only required to rank the top 10 students. Ranking every student all the way down would take far too much time, so once you've identified the top 10, that's where your rankings stop. All students, even those not in the top 10, will still receive their evaluation sheets with your comments and scores. This way, every student gets feedback on their work, but the official ranking only needs to cover the top 10 competitors. Most of the time, the scores and the rankings will line up. The students with the highest totals will usually take the top spots. But that's not always the case. Remember, the scores are just a tool to guide your judgment, not the final word. For example, on this slide, you can see that the student in first place has a score of 198, while the student in second place has a slightly higher score of 200. Based on your judgment, though, the essay with 198 was stronger overall, so it deserved the higher rank. That can happen for a few reasons. Often, the very first papers you score are judged before you've seen the full range of writing in the section. By the time you finish, you may score a little differently, sometimes even without realizing it. That's normal, and UIL rules allow you to use your judgment to make those final decisions. Another thing you'll notice here, the students in 6th and 7th place both have the same score. Even though their scores are equal, you still must rank them separately. Per UIL rules, ties are not allowed in writing events. Please be sure to break all ties before determining your final top 10 rankings. Once you have your final rankings, take the roster that contains all the students' names. On the screen, you can see an example of a completed roster. Write the number ranks, 1 through 10, in the rank column for the top 10 students, and then enter the scores for all students in the points column. The roster itself stays with the tournament director, and the ranking information is entered into the tournament software. Once you've finished ranking, take the completed roster and all the student essays to the tournament staff. They'll use your ranks to enter results. Next, they will sort the essays to return to the schools. Thank you for watching this training and serving as a writing grader. Your work makes these contests possible and ensures students have a fair, meaningful experience.